Hey guys, Whitehawk here, back with another video. We're doing a book review this week, so I'm just gonna jump right into it. This week we are reviewing Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. I don't know. It could be Louis, could be Lewis. The book was published in 1883. The main characters of this book are Jim Hawkins, Dr. Livesey, the Dr. Squire, Captain Smollett, and Long John Silver. This book takes place in two main settings. First of all, it takes place in the ocean, and second on the Hispaniola, and second, it takes place on Treasure Island. And so the time frame of this book's kind of, well, 1800s. That's, it was published in 1883. I'd say probably early to mid 1800s. I mean, I don't know too much about the 1800s, but I'd say that's probably the time frame. Although, yeah, that would be the setting of this book. The plot of this book is pretty much Jim Hawkins finds a treasure map, and he shows it to his family doctor, who, well, or the 1800s equivalent of a family doctor, who him and his family are very close with. And so they end up going on a treasure hunt to go find the treasure with a gang of unruly pirates. They go on a fun little adventure with some pirates. And so, yeah, I'd say that sums up the plot of this book without spoiling anything. So, yeah, let's move on from that. Alright, the genre of this book, I'm gonna say it's an adventure book, like I just said, they went on an adventure with the pirates to go find the treasure, so it's pretty self-explanatory. And there is multiple movies of this book. There's an actual movie of this book, just like a normal movie. There's a weird, like, in space version, pretty much the story, but it's in space. Oh, hey, a plane. That's very loud. Yeah, I don't like how loud that plane is. Yeah, well, that's a little inconvenient, but it's fine. Yeah, well, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by that plane, there's like a weird version of the movie that takes place in space instead of in the ocean. And so the movie's called Treasure Planet. Instead of it being an island, it's its own planet. And I watched it when I was like 6 or something, and I kind of forget it. So, maybe I'll check it out again. And there's one other very important version of this movie. There's a Muppets version. And your book is good when you get a Muppets movie about your book. I mean, I think the only other book to have that is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. A classic. A Muppets Christmas Carol. I watch it every year. Great movie. Although, let's not get sidetracked about the Muppets, even though they are fantastic. So, let's get on with the actual rating of the book. And so, action level, I'm going to give it a 2. I'd say that an action book is a 4 or a 3.5. It's not like in the middle, really. There's, minimal action. There's a good amount of action, but not, like half the book is action, or, a substantial amount of action for it to be a neutral amount. So I'm going to put it just under there at 2. Length. The length, I'm going to have it for, I'd say a 4. Like I said, if a book is like a couple hundred pages, but it's not in between like a couple hundred pages and this thick, it's a 4. If it's this thick, it's going to be a 5. This book personally took me 6 months to read because I just wasn't at all interested in it. I mean, I was up front, but then as the book went on, I kind of slowed down in reading it, and it just felt less interesting to me. So, yeah, that's really why this video has taken so long, partially why it's been so long since I've uploaded, because I've been trying to finish this book before I do a review on it. But yeah, I'm going to give it a 4 for length, because you know, it's not like a small novel, but it's also not, you know, this thick, like I always say. Length, nope, we just did length. Reading level, you know, I'm gonna give it a 3, middle ground. Pretty straightforward. I think there's a bit of Old English, and there's definitely some pirate speech in there. You know, that might be a little advanced for like a 6 or 7-year-old, but you know, you could do it. So yeah, it's pretty middle ground when it comes to length. And so yeah, now we're gonna get to my overall rating. This is personal to me. This is not in any way objective. This is my very subjective opinion. For me, I'm gonna have to give this book a 4 because honestly, I did not like that book this much. Like I said, I just lost interest over time. And, you know, it took me 6 months to read. And that's not because it was a long book. It's because I didn't enjoy it that much. And it is a pretty long book. Although I probably could have read it in a couple of months. And so, yeah, that's going to be my overall rating for it. Pros and cons to this book. Pros, is, I mean, I really like how he handled the ending of the book. And there was a solid amount of character development between Jim and Long John. He did a really good job of the character development with that, especially with some of the beginnings of the book. You know, obviously, I don't want to spoil anything, so if you've read the book, you'll understand what I mean. Although, if you haven't, I recommend you check it out. You know, it just wasn't my type, although you could really enjoy it. So, don't let my opinion ruin this book for you, because, you know, this is a really good piece of older literature. You know, this book right here, this is a classic book, and so I highly recommend reading it. You know, don't let my opinion on this book sway yours. Don't judge a book like it's by its cover. You know, that should be a motto of mine, since I'm a book review channel. Although, anyways, back to what I was thinking about. Pros and cons, yeah. Like, I really enjoyed how the character development with Long John and Jim was. How Robert handled that. And so, yeah, that's probably really the pros for this. Cons for this book, I find this with, like, a lot of adventure books. Like, I found it with The Lord of the Rings, too. It was just a lot of, like, walking, or in this case, sailing. And there was a lot of, like, discussion of, you know, what they're gonna do next. And their plans. And, you know, I'm personally, like, an action type of guy. And so, I don't like I don't really fully enjoy books that just have a lot of doing nothing. And so, and just, you know, planning and walking, and in this case, sailing, and it's just really, really boring to me. So that's what I find a con to this book. Although, other than that, there's no, like, objective cons. Most of my other cons would be subjective. So, you know, I want to stay objective with the pros and cons. I say that, then I say I really liked the way they handled the character development, which is very subjective, but, you know, I guess they're kind of subjective, kind of objective. It doesn't really matter. Just, once again, this end part is my personal view on it. Although, yeah, with that, I'd say that is the book reviewed, and we are just coming up on the 10-minute mark, so I think this might be my longest video. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Now that the summer's here, I'm hoping to upload more. I'm no longer going to be doing a weekly upload schedule, but rather I'm going to be uploading when I feel like it. And so I want to hopefully be uploading more because of that. Because when I upload a video, I'm like, hey, this didn't take me that long. Why don't I just do another one? But then I'm like, oh no, I have a weekly schedule. Then, yeah, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll do it next week. And then next week gets away, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do it next week. And then that week gets away, and, you know, next thing you know, it's been 3 months. So I want to have a slightly more consistent upload schedule, and so that's why I'm going to be doing this. Also, you know, it's summer now, so I'll have the liberty of more free time to upload. And yeah, I think that's all I really have to say. And so with that, if you enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like, and if you watch some other content on my channel and like what you're seeing, you know, consider subscribing. I'd like to hit 50 subscribers by the end of this year, but this year I think we've gained like 3 subscribers, so it's not looking great. Although, you know, if I can get a viral video, maybe I'll be able to hit that goal of 50. And, you know, with that, I will catch you guys in the next one, and I will catch you guys on the flip side.